Yes, we do anticipate that media briefing by the IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati coming later on this afternoon. But yes, 20 hours after the polling stations officially closed and the results are coming in at a snail's pace for many. Pain for people, others are celebrating, and for many more, we are still waiting, and they're still waiting. This is Kivumbi 2022, our special coverage of the 2022 general election. My name is Fred Ndimuli, and we continue with this coverage. A lot of news from yesterday's polling, a low voter turnout, one of the biggest talking points today. Kim's kits failing, violence, vote delays, 8 elections postponed to the 23rd. I think one is happening today in Eldas. I'm here with a panel of political strategists and political commentators to discuss this. Let me start off with the gentleman on my immediate left, Rafael Obonyo, public policy analyst. Good afternoon, karibu sana.
Thank you for having me.
Hesbon Owilla, media and communications strategist. Good to have you in studio.
Thank you.
Yaribo, lawyer and political strategist, also to have good to have you in studio. And Dismas Mokua, political risk analyst. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Gentlemen, one of the biggest talking points has been the low voter turnout experienced yesterday. But before we even get to that, because a quick look at Twitter and social media in general, and you'll be totally confused about what is happening. Yes, media houses are beaming results left, right, center. Parties are doing their own tallying. There is an official tallying being conducted by the IEBC. We do not expect any official results or declaration in as far as the presidential race is concerned, at least not for a few days. But look at social media, especially Twitter. There are people celebrating already. We've won, some thanking God and others and other beings. But what do we call this? Is it propaganda? Is it disinformation? What exactly is happening?
I think we are living in an information age and in an era where everyone wants to be a source of information. Everyone wants to see himself as an expert. Everyone wants to see him or herself to be the one breaking the news, even if they do not have full information. And so there's a lot of disinformation. In a high-stake elections like this, you will see a lot of disinformation, and I think that's what we are seeing. You'll see a lot of fake news. That's what we are seeing. You'll also see a lot of propaganda. So that because people have invested a lot in these elections, and so they want to prepare themselves and prepare their bases, to either either reject results or accept results, or things like that. So a lot of that is happening, and I think this is not just for Kenya. This is something you see across the world now, where whenever there is something high-stake elections like what we have now, everyone wants to feed in their bases with whatever information they think will excite their base, inspire their base, if you like, or just keep them engaged. And I think the role that we have is most importantly to fact check, but also just to create awareness on education on how people need to be careful about the whatever information they consume. But also I think we need to have trust in various institutions. I think part of what is happening is because maybe people do not have trust in some of our institutions, so they feel like, let me be the first one to release whatever information we are releasing.
Now, we've seen a number of politicians, especially for other races, MP races, senatorial races, and probably even for governor races, conceding. And they're doing this through social media. Now, a number of them have posted conceding to the competitors and saying we live to fight another day. But we've also seen congratulatory messages that have come a bit too early. And this keeps changing. You're seeing congratulations, so-and-so, congratulations, so-and-so. A few minutes later, someone else is leading in that race. What should we really expect?
Well, I think the only thing we need to expect is IBC to expedite the process. We know that unlike the other peddlers of information, IBC has to comply with the law. So if IBC has to go through the entire process of complying with the law, looking at all the Form 34As, and there are 46,000 of them, and help Kenyans, not be bombarded with this false information on social media, we only expect IBC to be a bit faster in what they are doing, so that we have the right information from IBC. Because the only authority in this is IBC. But there's something interesting that you've mentioned, that we've seen people congratulate themselves. We've seen people be congratulated by others. We've also seen leaders concede defeat. And you see, concession of defeat does not necessarily mean that we know the winner. You could be 3 candidates. If you are candidate number 3 and the first 2 are way beyond you, you concede. But you'll see different political formations would start celebrating that kind of a narrative. And some have since been debunked. By yesterday night when we were going to sleep late in the night, I mean, there are certain members of parliament who had won, there are certain governors who had won, and you can actually see that it's from a particular political formation, and it's pushing a narrative, that for all intent and purposes is supposed to make Kenyans believe that they have an unassailable lead. Kenyans should understand that the fact that the Form 34As have been submitted to the portal does not mean that IBC has gone through all those forms and tabulated. So it is only IBC that can comply with the law and give us information that is credible. But I think having said that, it's also important to just understand that sometimes when information is being pushed, other than looking at the source that is pushing that information, it's important to find out what is the rationale for that. The trend that I'm seeing is a trend that is not very good, that, political formations want to create this illusion that they are winning. And I think that is a recipe for, conditioning their supporters to contest any outcome that is not a win, So to Kenyans outside there, the portal is there for everyone. Anyone can tally the results. But if it was as simple as the way one of the political formations is trying to make it look, then we wouldn't be funding IBC to the tune of billions.
Yeah.
The whole process of just declaring a member of parliament is not as simple as something that someone can do within 6 hours of the closure of the voting. And the one for the presidential candidate is a lot more rigorous, because that is where all our interests are vested, and there are so many Form 34As. So that process is not that simple. People should wait for IBC. And the other thing you may want to ask IBC is if there is a way they can keep communicating, fast track the whole process of complying with the law, and giving us at least what is happening.
IBC was very fair to Kenyans, and probably just to take away the burden from themselves, they allowed everyone access, anyone who may want to carry out their tally, to access the Form 34s from their portal. But you can see even the media is struggling, because, and I've been receiving quite a number of questions, someone asking why is a tally at the bottom third of our set showing very modest numbers. Some media houses have more numbers than us. We also have access to that. But there's also a reason why the IEBC is allowed by law at least 7 days to declare the results. It is not that simple. It is a painstaking process. Yeah. To be fair to Kenyans, Wakili,
welcome to today's briefing on the